All this week, News 10 is investigating online prostitution and human trafficking. Tonight, why it's so prevalent in Oregon.
Experts say it all has to do with our laws or lack thereof. In this special investigation, News 10's Katie Connor takes a look at why selling sex is so easy.
The face of prostitution is changing. It's no longer a woman standing on a street corner. Instead, it's ads like these posted on the internet.
I think the numbers have always been there. It was just very well hidden.
These ads offering a good time for a small fee. But police say these ads aren't young women just looking to make a few bucks. The reality, it's a pimp trafficking underage girls.
One young girl probably being raped 10 to 15 times a day. It's a very, very incredible network of communication and makes it very difficult for law enforcement.
Police say websites like MedfordBackpage.com are essentially advertising sites for prostitution rings, which can lead to human trafficking.
And all that money that she's making is going to the pimp, tax-free. She's doing all the work.
Keith Bickford runs Oregonians Against Human Trafficking, or OATH. It was created back in 2008 to combat the state's growing problem. Oregon falls behind in laws dealing with human trafficking. Each year, Shared Hope International rates each state. Oregon's grade, a D. One of the reasons, Bickford says, the punishment for pimps and johns isn't harsh enough. If you're caught selling a person for sex, it's a Measure 11 crime. It carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 70 months behind bars. But for the johns, or those caught paying for sex, it's only a misdemeanor. Those charges can even be wiped clean if they attend a one-day class at the John School.
That's a first-time offense. Kind of like with DUIs, it's like a diversion type of thing. There's officers that come in and talk. They pay a lot of money to do it, to go through the school.
That's why prosecutors try to prosecute offenders on both state and federal level, because the punishment is much harsher.
We can work together with them because, and I'll give you an example. A young girl, a victim of sex trafficking, she has a pimp, there's johns raping her every day. Say, for example, one of those johns happens to use a condom. There's no condom factories in Oregon. That's interstate commerce.
The sentences on the federal side can be much longer.
Adam Peterson is a deputy district attorney. He's one of the only in the nation assigned to a cyber task force unit and who can prosecute on both state and federal level.
Folks coming from out of town that are bringing minors here and setting up at a hotel for a weekend or so and setting up and using these minors as prostitutes and then leaving town, which obviously makes it very difficult to prosecute those cases.
Interstate 5 is one of the main corridors where girls are transported up and down the West Coast. Police say oftentimes pimps move to small towns like Medford because there's fewer police and less public awareness.
I think it's a daily concern of all those of us on law enforcement is that there might be activity happening out there that we're not being able to address.
Awareness about the issue needs to be spread. Peterson says oftentimes police don't even know what signs to look for.
The biggest issue that we face on the law enforcement side is resources. Money, mainly money for purposes of having more detectives work these cases. These cases are complex. They're time-consuming.
OATH primarily focuses on the Portland area. Small cities like Medford don't get the same attention, but both Peterson and Bickford agree that doesn't mean the problem isn't here.
I got a feeling Medford's going to get hit with it very soon.
I guess if it's such a large problem, how come people can't see the signs so easily?
That's been the biggest question, actually, is, how are they getting away with all this? And as a pimp, you don't want to put your prized possession out on a street corner. That's why you keep this underground and you keep it quiet and you work together with the other pimps.
Until the customers stop logging on and paying up. These advertisements for underground prostitution will continue to be found on websites like Backpage.com. Covering your news, Katie Connor, News 10.